Yes. It's steel.
But you can't be any geek off the street. Gotta be handy with the steel, if you know what I mean.
Keep it real.
Keeping it real.
Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Steven and this is Steel Keeping It Real. Now you know what today is.
But you love me for my twang.
That's right, it is Twangin' Tuesday. And on this day I like to feature country music past, present, and future on the channel. Now I first want to address that I did get a couple of suggestions, but not enough to make it for a Twangin' Tuesday, compilation, as well as one of them had to be disqualified because it falls under the realm of gospel music. And not only gospel music, but gospel music from the 2000s. Now, I grew up as part of the Protestant Youth of the Chapel in the early 80s, and I went to Southern Baptist churches all the way up until I moved to England in 1980, and then I went to Protestant churches which were similar to Southern Baptist churches, whereas y'all sang the same songs. So I got, accustomed maybe to that kind of flow, but it was so boring and it was so sanitized. And that was the reason why there are certain groups like in the 80s, whether it be Amy Grant or Stryper or any one of those religious groups that I was like, you know what? No, I'm not doing it. And when I looked it up, the first thing when Phelps came into my head, I thought of, this guy. And it's not, they're no relation, so thank God. That's Pastor Phelps, by the way, of the Westboro Baptist Church. And if you don't know about him, look him up, but be careful because you might not like what you find. So then I noticed that it said Gaither Music. And I was like, well, Gaither Music, that sounds religious. I remember that name. Again, I was brought up in the church a lot, and I went to church a lot. And sure enough, Gaither Music is from a religious organization. And then I was like, okay, well, let me see if this guy is religious or not. And sure enough, within the first 15 seconds, I hit stop, and I was like, no, because this is going to be that smiley face, I got the power of Jesus, kind of upbeat. And I was like, you know what? No, I hate that music. I'm a spiritual person at heart, and again, I told you I was part of the church, but I hate that music. And it wasn't until churches started getting more non-denominational that the music started to change. Now, my mother took me to an Up With People concert back in like 79, 1980, which was a multicultural group, but they sang like these uplifting hippie songs, about, getting together, which was fine. The sentiment of the songs were okay. It was just the music was like, really? And I told my mom, I was like, you took me to my very first concert. She's like, really? What was that? And I was like, Up With People. She's like, oh yeah, I remember that. And I was like, yeah. And I vowed to myself that if I had kids, I would never do them dirty like my mom did me. So the first concert I took my son to, who was younger than me when I took him to that, was Aerosmith and Motley Crue. Yeah, I'm a great dad in that sense. So there is that story. The first song I'm going to do is from the era where I didn't know that music was considered country until after I moved out of the United States. And this is Eddie Rabbitt, and the song is I Love a Rainy Night. Now, this is off of the same album of the song Driving My Life Away, which I have done. I gotta remember my left from my right, which I have done, and I absolutely love that song. But Drive My Life Away came out before I Love a Rainy Night, and I Love a Rainy Night wasn't released until November of 1980. And in November of 1980, I was moving to the UK. I think we moved to the UK in November of 1980. So the song caught up to me a little late, but I still loved the song nonetheless. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is country. But I still liked it because I liked Eddie Rabbitt. So if we come over to here, let's take a look at what it did on the charts. So this song made it to number 6 in Australia, Keith Urban Country. Number 6 in Australia, number 4 in Canada's Country Tracks, number 11 on Canada's Top Singles, number 8 in New Zealand, number 1 on Hot Country Songs, number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, and number 1 on the US Adult Contemporary, and number 53 in the UK. And like I said, it got to them late. So I love Eddie Rabbitt. Just when you hear one song that is really, really good, and you hear other songs that are being played on the radio, it's like, yeah, this guy's got it going on. And he did a song with, I think it was Crystal Gale, Just You and I, which is a great little love song, and I might do that as well, because I love Eddie Rabbitt. So, if you like videos like this and others on the channel, please don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification button, because I'm doing at least 15 videos each and every week. So, without any further ado, here is Eddie Rabbitt and I Love a Rainy Night.
And here we go.
Well, I love a rainy night. I love a rainy night. I love to hear the thunder, watch the lightning when it lights up the sky. You know it makes me feel good. Well, I love a rainy night, such a beautiful sight. I love to feel the rain on my face, taste the rain on my lips. In the moonlight shadows, showers wash all my cares away. I wake up to a sunny day, 'cause I love a rainy night. Yeah, I love a rainy night. Well, I love a rainy night. Well, I love a rainy night. Ooh, ooh. I love a rainy night. I love a rainy night. I love to hear the thunder, watch the lightning when it lights up the sky. You know it makes me feel good. Well, I love a rainy night, it's such a beautiful sight. I love to feel the rain on my face, taste the rain on my lips. In the moonlight shadows, puts a song in this heart of mine, puts a smile on my face every time, 'cause I love a rainy night. Yeah, I love a rainy night. Ooh, I love a rainy night. Yeah, I love a rainy night. Ooh, ooh. Showers wash all my cares away. I wake up to a sunny day, 'cause I love a rainy night. Yeah, I love a rainy night. Well, I love a rainy night. I love a rainy night. Well, I love a rainy night. You can see it in my eyes. Yeah, I love a rainy night, 'cause it makes me high. Ooh, I love a rainy night. No, I do. Yeah, yeah, I love a rainy night.
Alright, so that was I Love a Rainy Night by Eddie Rabbitt. Now, if you often wonder why, if you see me playing air guitar or anything like that, why you see me like this and you can't see my strumming hand, I'm left-handed. So I'm strumming with my left hand and doing everything else with the right hand, which is probably the same way, because when I play the keyboard, of course, all the fast stuff is done with my right hand and the slow stuff is done with my left hand. So if I'm just kind of strum, unless I'm trying to do like, then I'm doing it with my left hand. But you know, this song was just that song. It's upbeat, it's happy, you know, I love a rainy night, you know, that's basically the whole, I love the way it tastes on my lips and things like that. So it's just that upbeat song. And this is 1980. You know, you have certain songs in the 90s, you know, that sound like this. So Eddie Rabbitt, to me, maybe might have been a little bit ahead of his time, but remember, I didn't listen to a lot of country, but I did listen to country that made it through the radio around that time frame. So if you are still here, I thank you very much for staying tuned. I really do appreciate it. First and foremost, I want you guys to like the videos as much as I like making them for you. After that, all you need to do to help me out with the channel is to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Peace.